occurred. Once the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha at Vulture Peak Mountain, together with a great gathering of Sangha of monks and a great gathering of the Sangha of Bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One entered the samadhi that expresses the Dharma called profound illumination, and at the same time, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, while practicing the profound Prajnaparamita, saw in this way. He saw the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. Then, through the power of the Buddha, Venerable Shariputra said to noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, how should a son or daughter of noble family train who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita, addressed in this way, noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, to Shariputra, O Shariputra, a son or daughter of noble family who wishes to practice the profound Prajnaparamita should see in this way, seeing the 5 skandhas to be empty of nature. Form is emptiness, emptiness also is form. Emptiness is no other than form, form is no other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, perception, formation, and consciousness are emptiness. Thus, Shariputra, all dharmas are emptiness. There are no characteristics. There is no birth and no cessation. There is no impurity and no purity. There is no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no perception, no formation, no consciousness, no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no appearance, no sound, no smell, no taste, no touch, no dharmas, no I dhatu up to no mind dhatu, no dhatu of dharmas, no mind consciousness dhatu, no ignorance up to no old age and death, no end of old age and death, no suffering, no origin of suffering, no cessation of suffering, no path, no wisdom, no attainment, and no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, since the Bodhisattvas have no attainment, they abide by means of Prajnaparamita. Since there is no obscuration of mind, there is no fear. They transcend falsity and attain complete nirvana. All the Buddhas of the 3 times by means of Prajnaparamita fully awaken to unsurpassable, true, complete enlightenment. Therefore, the great mantra, Prajnaparamita, the mantra of great insight, the unsurpassed mantra, the unequaled mantra, the mantra that calms all suffering should be known as truth since there is no deception. The Prajnaparamita mantra is said in this way, Te ata om gate gate paragate parasangate bodhisoha. Thus, Shariputra, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, should train in the profound Prajnaparamita. Then the Blessed One arose from that samadhi and praised noble Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva Mahasattva, saying, Good, good, O son of noble family, thus it is, O son of noble family, thus it is. One should practice the profound Prajnaparamita just as you have taught, and all the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, Venerable Shariputra and noble Avalokiteshvara, the Mahasattva, that whole assembly in the world, with its gods, humans, asuras, and Gandharvas, rejoiced and praised the words of the Blessed One. Teata om gate gate paragate parasangate bodhisoha Mabaganju sanji gai nemedo jishi Omanaji memanaji jivadaji ragi vaji medo mejo danji jenin koryezo Ngeri hendonya jejo Shiwa da medo nube yenan dewa da Tamba Junji Bonzon Zonjoji Dashi Niyane Nane The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. Holy Lamas high, wrap the sky of your Dharma bodies in massive clouds of knowledge and love. And let them pour upon the earth of your disciples as we are ready, a shower of rain, the teachings deep and wide. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. Idam Guru Radha Mandala Gamiradayami. Yadanani Yadamla Nyanjo Vado Dani Yazu Yendagi Jinye Jibezanami. Drala Menje Sanye Rubayo. Nanjani Janam La Janjo Vado Dani Yazu Jindagi Junye Jibezanani. Drala Menje Sanye Rubayo. Yana Jani Yana La Yajo Vado Dani Yazo Yinagi Jenye Yebezo Dani Njala Menche Zanye Rohayo.
Odanga to lori chibo chibo chungu da tumu chibo chungu da tumu laji de bakatu le marbe tele de samajon samati se tele to se wa tele tambul jine shema de lo jeba ta jine shema de ta de ba ni je ta de ma chondu de le ni ta chondu sa je ta le de khatu de marbe Lende de la Shesamba de Shirat Samba, San de Jodu Shatu, Saji Sondo, Lende Shesamba Saji, that Shirat Samba Katu Marbe, Shirat Samba Katu, that Name Juan, Jedan, Name Jinjebi, Name Juji, or Jenny Jason Nishusaji, to send Nishusaji home there,
Nishusaji,
Name Juan, Tambache. And then you but the name Jebuji, Nebaje, and the somebody name Juji. Name Juji, Takazon, one of my Nameji, you take jet and Name Jebuji, Ruru Chamber, that Daringaso, 남의 죄지 가둘로 나 백지 앞는 도선 아니 아자 코라져 주로
So ni sache yere
어디 아버래 다 이봐 남의 죄
tisum.
남의 죄지
Yeah.
남의 죄지 가둘로 어디 베이지는데도 자동 구출해 자동 구출
Miraso.
어디
Raso.
지게들어 남의 죄지레스 어디 구출 인지 안 같은 거
Ale J Nishu Saje. Okay, so we'll do.
yeah.
So when we're looking at the stages of the path, and specifically training the mind in the stage of the path shared in common with beings of small capacity, we find it being explained in the current section that we're in the great treatise on the stage of the path to enlightenment. So if we look at it from the perspective of the outline, we find that it's training the mind in the stage of the path shared in common with beings of small capacity. And then we have categories: the actual training of thought of a person of small capacity, the measure of the attitude of a person of small capacity, and then dispelling any misconceptions that are related to a person of small capacity. And under that first heading, the actual training of thought of a person of small capacity, we find two categories: developing a state of mind that strives diligently for the sake of future lives, and then a second category of relying on a means or a method for achieving happiness in one's next life. So in that category of relying on a means or a method for achieving happiness in one's next life, there are two major headings. First, refuge, which we've already gone over in detail, and then karma and its results. So karma and its results are explained in three different ways. So we find three major categories that begin this section on karma and its results. First, the reflection on karma and its results generally, in general. Then secondly, reflection on karma and its results specifically or with its particulars. And then third, how one engages in virtue and abandon non-virtue after reflecting on karma and its results in general and specifically. So these are the kind of three outline categories, and we've already finished the reflecting on karma and its effects generally, and now we're in the section on the particulars of it, or the details, the specifics of karma and its effects. So in that section, we'll find that there are three specific types of fruitions. There are the attributes of fruitions, the effects of fruitions, and then the causes of fruitions. So these are the three points that are made and gone over in this section on reflecting on karma and its effects specifically or in detail. So we find a total number of 24 fruitions that are explained in this section, because each of them, the attributes, the effects, and the causes have eight categories.
어제 다 되는 가서 남의 주제 되는 거는 말ပဲ남의 주제래
So if everybody wants to turn to page 242, this is where we begin on the specifics of karma and its results. So that's where we're going to begin.
다 남의 주제래스 다 담보도 되는 남의 주제는 담보 네 신경을 맞춰와도 맞이 상바된 바스 다 신경 너버 제주 말스 신경을 맞춰와 너버 맞춰와도 맞이 상바된 바스 주 담보 임바래 상바된 바스 제야 다다는 처리 주당 내매비 주카니도 카니 다세질 세질 맞서와다 안에 메시 상바템바니데 담부제 남의 주제가 나네 담부제 어디 남의 주제가 담부제 된데부 가리용 거르서나 서링와다 용거 서링와 매달 할 집에이나 서링부터 어디 서링와도 맞서와다 메시 상바템바되게 주제발라되네 and the city was young man so Sosa Chuba, les dents, Tenzin, Sugi, Pen Tajin, Suja Tsawa Ledubi, Tseriwane, Tubanjurus, Tab Masawa, Masi Samba Temba Ina, Temba Ju Tamba Ina, and Metal Haljiva in Tserimu Yungres, Tezamaze, and Nami Jujenda Mobuyores, Sosa Chuba, les dents, Tasije Nyatan. And the Baju dance, Soya to Galo, and the Sulu Tambaina, and Terim Gujarava. Sosa Chuba, Le Dantans, the Masuto Setataya, and then Ya Soya to Galo, Setatambaina, Seje, Soya to Galo.
Soya Sena.
Kill being.
Yeah.
Yatan, Baju the sheep,
Baju.
Shatan. What Soya to Galo. And the Masuba Zutubaina, Sulu Thomas Marbe, Sosa Chuba, Le Dantans, Tasulu at Imbade, Tenzin Suki, Pentajin, Tenzin to Sentient, Gendal Suki, Pentajins, Serimuatan, Watendri, Pentajin, Sucha Tsawa Le Dubas, Sucha Tsawa, Masawata, Masi Samba Tembas. Taman Rusas, what is the Kondus in Zarota, Sucha Tsawate, Teleduba ina, the Bomba ina, the Bomba Citizens Bombaina, Suja Soa Le Dube, Seriwane, Tobanjurus, Serimuyungres, what they and Masawata Masi Samba Temba, what the Seri Juji, Tatanama Yancha Karsogre. Chenrezig what the Kashi Legandua, what to Kale, Jay Sosa Chuba Le Dantas on du, Siji Soya to Maso Zubaina, Chenmo Gujarota, Sosa Chuba Le Dantan, Nyasu Le Tayatan, and what the Shatan to Sudan Santa Injure. Tenzin Suki Pentashin, Siji General Suki Pentas, Kusul Neba Yobaina, and the Hotel Pentabaina, Trushebaina. Sucha Tsawa Le Dubi, Sucha Jenda, Bing, Tsawa Le Dubi, Sitting Sobayina, Tsawa Le Dubi, Debukari Ungre, Seriwan Tobajur, Serimungres, Serimi Judo, Serimi Jo. That name may be Judo Karasana, Nebi Gurishi Memba, Pen Road to Jimba dance. That nebi nebag yubujuya, nebal mentea, nemhen the rotajim badan, sucha bon, isuji, toamel nemeis, and then was it tasu nebag neujuya, nebal mentea, what in Jibana, and what in Jebutele, Tonchu Yugu, Tendele, Nemeba Yunguirota, and the Chinen Yujutan, Letajala Yuga. Nebi Niego Shame Hemba, Nebag Ubuja, Nebal Metibaina, Nemhen Rod Jimbatans, Sucha Tsoa, Sucha Pua, Isuji, Tsoa Mele, Nemeis, that's what I'm but now what the Sukolo never the Bombaina, and then what the Tsoa Meba. Toward the Bombaina, and the day in Jebel name by Yungore, Del name by Yungore, Joashama, Tishama Pegile, name may be good to this, she is also what about college Jujana.
The dead school Rinpoche, the Puik Trangare.
Puik Tranga, the Jadam Guchure.
Okay.
Gucci Chido, Nami Jujeles.
Thanks.
Nami Jujele Tambones, Sejela Matsawata Masi Samba Tembas. What could each other then would each?
disconnected here. Hey, Rasa. Okay, so we're going to go to page 244, the causes of fruitions. So we're on page 244, and it says, these are the 8 causes of fruitions. The cause of consummate lifespan is not harming living beings, and the application of a non-violent attitude. Further, it is said that by rescuing those approaching a place where they will be killed, and likewise giving life to others and turning harm away from living beings, you will acquire a long lifespan. So here, if one turns away from harm, if one turns away from killing beings such as fish, or turns away from killing sheep or cows, if one abandons this level of harm and other types of harm to living being, the fruition of that is, or the result of that is, that one will have a long lifespan. So the cause of consummate lifespan is not harming living beings. So the actual action of actively not killing, actively not harming. So this is the ethics which abandons harm. So this is how one is able to achieve a long lifespan, a consummate lifespan. So the next category is how one is able to be free from illness. So it says, through caring for the sick, through a doctor's giving medicine to the sick, and through not harming living beings with sticks, clumps of earth, and the like, you will be without illness. So here, if one abandons harm, if one gives medicine to those who are ill, takes care of those who are ill, and so forth, then one will be able to be free from illness. So the cause of being free from illness is non-harm to living beings, and actually acting in a beneficial way, such as the examples here, such as giving medicine to somebody who is sick. This way. The Chishina, the Nyun Jason. The Chishina.
That judge on top of the Sijilla Matsoa, Mazi Samba Tempers, Tomba Marbe.
Less so.
So as the Neba Jet Marbeta, Neba Pombi, Chutin to Sombaina, Neba Pombi Gile, the Gruaina, and know what the Cirim is. That what Matsoa, Mazi Samba Temper, what the old Maji, there's more she on Marbe. So as a tuba lay down dance. That's why I say to Masuba, I know what the Tiri Jujerota.
Lesson.
Sabachuba let down dance. The Sugi Pentabas, the Sugi Pentashi, Sejil Sugi Pentaba, Kosuya Namatanina, and then called Masuya down what the Kosul Pento with Trobuchebaina. Pentashins.
Trobuchebaina, they say?
Have.
Oh, okay.
Have.
Lesson.
Sulu Nyakayona, and Yakameba Kurobuchebaina, what the Pentabamarba.
Lesson.
Robujeba. Tasucha Tsoa Ledubas, 수차를 뇌츠대 bombi 기ile 수진송바이나 텔제버 가리용어서나 스레무 용거레스 수차 저와레 도베 스레완네 토반조 스레무 용거레스 스레완 토반조로 단 스레무 천들 스레무 용거레 진내뉴줄 스레무 용거레 레라젤라주 스레무 강갈자 유저로
Deng Jason. 네.
어때서 갈래갈래야 이제 다 듣는마 내매비 주도 들에서 내비니에 그릇이 멤버스 네발게 네발 로브제야 안 네발 매제야 어떤 제바이나 네발 매제야 어떤 제바이나 네 내비니에 그릇이 멤버 팬으로 드신 바다스 네발 우부제 안 네발 매제야 팬으로 드신 바다스 수자 봉화 이수지 처음에는 내매 두 수자 봉화 당가서 바그도 그걸로 네버 맞제바지 처와도 봉화이나 안 호텔 내매바 중고 천들 내매바 저와 심할 내매바 심한 편지를 내매비 주드레스 어디 사마르베 처음에는 내매 시송조조 어때 담아들 콘덤 tin사래 그지 상사이나 지면와 양자고라지 찔러주다 고모즈라나 그저 멍겐데
Kangalatu.
Yeah.
So once again, when we look at the causes of fruition, or the causes of, I guess it is the best is fruition, then we would say that when someone has a long lifespan, it's because of specific activities. So if one is to keep a being from being killed, so for instance, if one saves a being, keeps that being from being killed, then this is considered a cause for a long life, because then one is not looking to harm. In this case, there is an actual desire, an attitude of benefit, or an attitude that wishes to help this being, as opposed to the exact opposite, which is harm. And then the utmost harm would be actually killing. So that abstinence from killing, and then also saving the animal, such as a fish or a cow, etc., from being killed. So this first example, by rescuing those approaching a place where they would be killed, so where there, any of these animals might be slaughtered, and likewise giving life to others. And turning away from harming beings. So the turning away from and turning harm away from beings, that actually means benefiting them. So turning harm away is working for their aid, helping them in some way. So it's by the opposite of harm, which is help of some sort. One is able to have a long lifespan. So it says you will acquire a long lifespan by saving those who are from being killed, and giving life to others, and turning harm away from living beings, wishing to benefiting living beings. You will acquire a long lifespan. So this is the first of the 8 causes of fruitions. So the fruition being the long lifespan itself. The next category is how one is free of illness. So it says through caring for the sick. So this is taking care of somebody who is ill through a doctor's giving medicine to the sick. So here is an example given of a doctor giving medicine to the sick. But just in general, if someone is ill, if you help them, if you take care of them and you give them medicine, then this becomes a cause for you in the future to be free from illness. So these are actions that you engage in that give rise to a result in this life, and then some of these actions give rise to a result in one's next life, and then some of the actions give rise to a result in many, many lifetimes later. So we see those three kinds of times, the here and now, immediate next life, and then later on, or many future lives later. So these actions of non-harm, which lead to a long lifespan, lead to that long lifespan in those three times. And then we see that this attitude of helping and caring for sick and giving medicine to someone who is ill leads to the result of being free from illness in those three times, in one's this life, next life, and then in future lives. So these are the first two of the causes of the fruitions. So I'm sorry, that's Gurumche. Gongel Mebuchi. So here it says, and through not harming living beings with sticks. Rinpoche gave the example of hitting a bug, for instance, swatting a fly, doing something like that. So that could be an example of that. Here, this is a harmful activity that hurts a being. So that would be an example of what a harming with sticks would be. Rinpoche said that you find these points made the Shansa, the Papatome. So we find this. So we find these points made in Asanga's text called the Bodhisattva grounds, the Bodhisattva bhumis. So a doctor who sees people who are sick and then takes care of them and gives them medication is acquiring virtue. So when the doctor helps the people who are ill and gives them medication, then this is very good virtue that he or she is accumulating. Dixon. But we also would find it in the case of someone who's not a doctor that helps someone who is very ill and gives them medication. So if we look at this in relation to the 10 non-virtues, this would be referring to the ethics which abandons the killing.
Olma Josons Legua, Budget Tule, and Joson Tamarina, Debo Putuan Waters, Debo Yabun Waters. So Chibalet, Waterma, Zala to go by Nijela to go by Joa, Casa Samba Taba, Joa Taba, Shin Taba Tabason to Olma. Jujiba Tabason Sana, and Debo Putuan Yabun Waters. Lesser. And the Juji, the Jujenda, Son to Matana, never put on your memory. Juji with the Yobachi, Tetule, and old Shebi, Joson with Tabason, and then Samba Taba, Joa Taba, and then Shintabo, the Son Sambaina, never put on your words, Golden Leg and water. Yeah, that number water, Takante, social Tawabon, and the number to never imagine the China, Goyoro. Go out the Sentient 좀 사주고 뭐 도바 주지 홍아 제바이나 남일라 머와 랑라 뜨비고 봐 되는 힘 타반을 줘 봐. 어때 니 말배 와다 가대 홍아디서 홍아 세제 다지거든 사주고 뭐 도비 주지 이거 와다 거 줄은 호바이나 안는 제바 편성수 보는 거래스 맞아 올 몸도 와다
So when we engage in these causes, if they are endowed with, or they also, or they have these three other causes within them, the purest of attitude, the pure application, and the pure recipient. So here, with the pure attitude, we would be looking to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So this would be the pure attitude that one would be having. So if these causes are there, they become very solid. They become very directed when they're dedicated, and they become of more substance, or they become, here the word outstanding is used. They become outstanding if they're endowed with these three things: the pure attitude, pure application, and pure recipient. So it's the recipient who is doing this for what reason? For the becoming a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings, applying this for that case. So we sign the pure attitude, the pure application, and then the pure recipient. Diksun.
Namila moro sije taji to saju go to jumhoade namila moro adres ta hin taban drobas ono wote gwad su ngalo hin taban drobas gores hin taban droba ina an jebe putu yabu yongores hin taban droba gwad droni drola ma drola wote jeba ina gwad she che yongo menjero da ko samba she che jene and gwad droba ina wote jebe samba yongores.
So when we look at these virtuous causes, if the virtuous causes aren't outstanding, or if they're not endowed with the specific types, then they won't produce the greatest level of result. It's only when they are coupled with it, or contain those, the virtue contains those three, that they become a very great result, or a very great cause.
Tata no de jela de bani te mara jela de bani de je chushige ra chushige ta chebon di chung song yong ro da chushige chebon di chone song del chadu je je maras jisu ra ya ba je gores jisu ra ya ba je ba ina na go do ta chen ro re de pu tu song yong gores jisu ra so do jela de bani de Randi tasung tona chadu dan remba dan nyeba pone jisu yirangwa dan tada tar manu na tejin to jejang lemon to shawosa ta kante chushige jenda le chibun din chung tsama le jisu yirangwa ba jegore chadu jejuwe mares wad majeba ina ana susuke sentient sujo bombe ne gawad ta chenro jagre tendre ya yungres wodi samarbe
wrong ni shen ni
ral samba nabata ral te bani terwa namela maro lame shatu du shatu du mo ta ro more ni bade hin taban droba marbe hin taban droba de teni jonsona ana gawad de put join yungres jela te bani de ne chushi ge rani tason le ne sanada chadu jeje mare jisu ra je wures te je ba ina ana gawad ya yungres jela te bati te je jela te bani bad marbe ta
the guy shine the chomo din chambo the chandila
다 최제게 야가 요래 리 요 처음에 저 처음에 and Chaduji, Sanaji, Taniji, Jesuit, Jewures, with the Jevaina, Susuke, Sujum, Sujinte, Chenrezig over that. Children, Tenderby Putin,
the tumble.
yeah. Putin is what the Jena Tibetan Buddhism, Jena Tibetan Buddhism, and then Mone Casa Hirawa Tada Manunaya, Nerijento, Chishing around it has on Jesuit and Chema Tuba the Inaya, Nemataba Gento, what they 용약의 성로만 부탁한 거였어. 재정 샤워스 어떻게 말해. 대니 대서 제일 되버니. 오가레든 시내 가서 말해. 대시 나오던 게 차유지래.
So when we look at having it something that's outstanding, we find that when we look at the three causes, and we look at the first. So when we get to page 245 at the bottom, we find this information. So when we look at the causes, if we look at the three causes, and we look at that first pure attitude, there's two types of pure attitude. Self-directed and then other-directed. And then when we look at self-directed pure attitude, which again is one of the two types of pure attitude, which is one of the first of the three things that make a cause, if are endowed with, they make a cause outstanding. So the self-directed, the first not hoping for fruition, which is dedicating the virtues from your creation of the causes for unexcelled enlightenment. So here, this is making a proper dedication for the purpose of, for the point of becoming a Buddha, for the sake of all sentient beings. Intense power, which is achieving the causes from the depths of your heart. So having a very strong desire, wishing for this, wanting this very much. So this is an attitude which is dedicating it towards this specific goal, and then has this intense power. So here, these are the two of the self-directed pure attitudes. The second is referring to other directed attitudes, directed pure attitudes. So the first category deals with abandoning jealousy, competitiveness, and contempt when you see fellow practitioners of the teaching who are better, equal, or less than yourself, and admiring them. I think Lapsar, and admiring them. So here, this is talking about rejoicing, rejoicing in the many virtuous deeds of the practitioners. So here, when we look at there are various levels of practitioners. There are those practitioners of small capacity, those practitioners of medium capacity, and those practitioners of great capacity. And here the point is that practitioners should abandon jealousy, competitiveness, and contempt related to the other practitioners at various levels and so forth. So if one isn't able to do the above, it says, so actually abandon jealousy, competitiveness, and contempt, then one should wish for it to be able to happen. So discerning many times every day that you must do it. So telling yourself that you should do this, that it must happen. So beginning to build the conviction that it will happen. And what will happen is abandoning jealousy, abandoning competitiveness, and abandoning contempt.
다 생나버다 랄라티바니 제나티바니 도트레도다
Lapsar.
소셜 처업을 그와데 예비 툴라 안에 생나버다 랄라티바니 다 제나티바니 참아이나 안제베 푸트로 용거지로다 랄라티바니데 Namgyal Monastery, Gawate, Sentient tantric Sanji go to Jumwat Redwa, Jumwache, Nibate, Shutabas, Saint Sanlu Shutabi to ne, and the Soju Bomba Yinawate, Contribution Wojero, Need Redwa. Tajela to Benite, Jela to Benite, Samba Nabataba, Jela to Benite, Jechu again. 총원이 제고 참아 지수에 나지 오르스 타도지 유마르스 어떻게 그것도 전주자고로 근데 제마 두바 이나야 대용하게 로정지 오르스 장다 제원이 들은도와 니디제 어떻게 창소나 고 소저 bombe gawat 또 전주자고 이러다 내부 표출용 그래스 사 joa taba rala teba de jela teba joa taba la ya joa taba rala teba ne joa taba la rala tebi gawat jela tebi gawani yong doa joa taba rala teba ne tu rinwa dans ta soje bomba tu rinwa soje bomba ane gawa kadruba ina ju rinbo pa ma cheba Godruba ina o de touch be samarbe tu rinwa ta pa ma cheba dans tu rinwa ne ran la teba de gawade tu rinbo every time o de gawajeba ina ko touch be jirota pa ma cheba tanga tu nyama taba khanu je ya tu ya be samarbe nyama taba ko ma cheba jene ane manner 팅고지 담아있는 냐마타바 팅고지 담거로 어때 고와토 쳐이 자만베 뒤진와다 바마체바스 냐마타바 마체바진 도고로다 나주 칸네 시즈 버바진다 가르 시즈 고르요 가르베 어또 냐마타바 튜루 나미네 주도고로 어또 그걸로 고와체비 자만베 뒤진와다 바마체바다 네 슈자바사 ane jela joa taba jela teba ne yan taba malamba lendo joa ta sota tuti chansa que tuti sama que tuti malenka tole njuru dumba lende abashira das sota tuti lana pen yoare chansa que tuti lana pen yoare ha que tuti lana ane pen yoares lendo june kamba joba ina wa te jela teba joa taba jela teba din samarbe Jela tuba ne ya taba malamba len tu juba ta domba malamba len tu juba ta lamba nala chum domba len ne abashira sa domba ge jotele taba yongore denu yongore saji gumo yongore hajo je ya tu ne samarbe wo tu si danga so te katul korajan jinro shana ne ba jaw de senro jagare
Okay. The Geshe Lharampa. Okay, so then here it says there are two types. So when we go over this, that's right. So when we go over this and we look at how cause becomes extraordinary, it becomes outstanding is the word that's used here. It has to be endowed with specific causes itself. So the three causes that it has to be endowed with are pure attitude, pure application, and pure recipient. When we look at the first category of pure attitude, there are two categories within it. There is the pure attitude that's related to self-directed, and then the other-directed. So the first category that deals with self-directed. And here, if we have these components that we're going over, these self-directed pure attitudes and other-directed pure attitudes, then it becomes a great level of virtue. So when we're going to use this first example that's used here is the ethics which abandons killing. So the ethics which abandons killing, if it is carried out with these self-directed pure attitudes and the other-directed pure attitudes, then it becomes a great level of virtue. The first is that it says not hoping fruition, which is dedicating the virtues for creating the creation of the causes for unexcelled enlightenment. So here this is dedicating what one is doing, having this attitude that one is doing these things for the sake of becoming a Buddha, for the sake of all sentient beings, to bring all sentient beings to a state of enlightenment. So here, this is the first component. The second is intense power, which is achieving the causes from the depths of your heart. So here, this is truly wanting to do this and having this motivation that is pure, a motivation that is doing so for the sake of becoming a Buddha, and so forth. So one is dedicating it to this, the other is doing it for this. So and having this pure motivation, so the depths of one's heart. The two other directed attitudes are abandoning jealousy, competitiveness, and contempt when you see fellow practitioners of the teaching who are equal, better, equal, or less than yourself, and admiring them. So no matter what level a practitioner is at, if they're at a small level, a medium level, a great level, then one should rejoice in what they're doing. So it should rejoice in the good and so forth that they're doing. And then it says, even if you're unable to do the above, discerning many times every day that you must do it. It's wishing that you'll be able to do it, setting it in your mind that at some point, even though I can't do it now, in the future I will be able to do it. And then it says there are two types of pure application. So when we saw the first is pure attitude, second is pure application. Two types of pure application, self-directed and other-directed. Self-directed pure application is applying yourself to cultivating virtue for a long time without interruption and with great intensity. So here we find this category of virtue for a long time without interruption and with great intensity. We can see how some of the practices that we do every single day, such as our practice of mantras, saying the Om Mani Padme Hum mantra, or our 6-session Guru Yoga practice, because we're doing this all the time, we're doing this every time, it becomes something that we're cultivating for a long time. So cultivating virtue for a long time. So it becomes self-directed pure application in this sense. And then without interruption and with great intensity. The other directed pure application is causing those who have not adopted vows and other commitments to do so, praising those who have made such commitments so that they may delight in them, making them continue and making them not abandon them. So here, this is encouraging those who have various types of vows, such as the individual liberation vows, or the bodhisattva vows, or the tantric vows, to hold those vows, to not break those vows, to continue to keep them, to keep the commitments that they have had, and to praise the vows themselves and so forth. So this is other directed pure application. Decent.
다 sambat nabat tabar nala tubi goba da jena tubi goba ni ane jena tubi goba ni joa nabat tabar nala tubi goba na jena tubi goba ni wote goba tu ngalo ane rebe putu shwa yongore sirwa ta ko jajun ja de jaga jun tu chaburo de ko kaburi jere de marbe ane ngaso samele tabare shasewa na chuji shabata jesuye랑 구지소에 고아중에다 타지도 상회랑 아주 내고 말 샤세와 이나 샤세베 고아데 세제 타지고도 사지고 원투 줄 호바 이나 나밀라 머와스 라르도 상노도 아 근데 수잡아 제바 이나 라르도 니 상고도 되네 젤라도바 안에 젤라도바서 다드네 최적의 젠달을 자리 타손 지수여나 제바이나 지수여나 제마투나야 안도 고용하게 다시 제바니 참바이나 안도 거와도 샤차이 거와도 더체고 너무 평소 소바용 말베 최지 샤바 초반비 Goa, and then Deba Shabi Goa, and the Goa to Kingalo, what is soon to Sangasu Nyalan Jeva Yina, Chiba Marabata, Chiba Person Super Waters, and then as a Puchan Yavanaji, the Jadu, Kutraba Rota, Dangaso, Tujin Shatsa, the Sukangas Shegarota, Chebambuya, and the Matupia La Soba, or Matupi Gawate, and the Senior Tajiku, Sanju go to Jumojaba Yina. Namgyal Monastery, Rangla to be Gobachi Sangadua, Shutabu, Bibayina, and the Rangla to be Sangadua. Jail Tuba, and then Gaza. Treatise and Raditas, Jesu Rajiba, Nako, Touch of the Wajava. Jesu Raji Matuna Yako, Jesu Ranage, and then Touch Jibayina, and Rangla to be Jail to be San. Tajua Taba, and Taba Regime. Chebambuya, Juma Chebatan, what the Buya to Sumarbe, Joataba, Pama Chebatan, the Shutaba, and the general to what the Goagangal Krekaya water, Nasu, Matupia, Chebambuya, Gangal water, the Tambajina, the weapons.
Okay. So we can see that if there are these two types of attitude that are combined with a cause, then the result will be of a great result, will be of a magnificent type of result. So when we engage in something, some type of virtuous activity, and we could say any type of virtuous activity. So when we look at the seven limb prayer, and we look at the various components. The Yana Dumba, the Chulong Lasun.
And the Shasa or the Shasa Goa, Chibambi Go,
Okay. So when we look at the seven limb prayer, for instance, and this is a way that we accumulate virtue. The seven limb prayer has the various components, such as paying homage, and then making offerings, and then acknowledging one's downfalls or confessing, and then rejoicing, and then requesting for the turning of the wheel, and then an actual entreating, and then the dedication section. So when we look at these limbs of action, when we engage in, for instance, the act of homage or making a prostration, in order for it to be a magnificent or an outstanding virtue, then it has to be combined with these components of self and then other. So when we look at the act of, for instance, making a prostration, or giving some handful of flowers, or making an offering of some flowers, in order for it to be a great deed, in order for it to be a great virtue, then it has to have the following components as well. So this motivation becomes very important. So one should be making this prostration for the sake of becoming a Buddha, for the sake of all sentient beings. So here one is doing this and dedicating it to one's actual enlightenment. So then this is the first part that makes it a great result. And then also one has some intensity, and from the depths of their heart has this wish to do these things. So wishes to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings. So wishes to create these causes for that result. And then also the second are the other pure attitudes, which abandon jealousy, competitiveness, and contempt, and so forth, for fellow practitioners and their virtues and so forth. One rejoices in what they've done. And so, for instance, they engage in the seven-limb prayer and pay homage and so forth. We rejoice in their virtue, no matter what level they are at. Instead of wishing to be competitive or jealous and so forth, we just rejoice in what they've done, where they are at. And no matter what type of virtuous activity we look at, in order for it to be outstanding, it has to be coupled with or combined with these attitudes and so forth. We'll take a short break, and we'll be back in a little bit.
sentient tantric do bishan to ko ra de go chi sang do shu ta ba je ba yin yin sang do yin ra de ta zong le ji sui ra je ba yin na yin la de chi sang do de ne ji sui ra je sang lu ta je ba yin na yin sang do ane jo ta ba de ji jiang du che ya de bu de ma de ba wo de jo ta ba wo de sang do de ne nga zo ka se wo de ta measure because we sent you with no growth. He just said, Shabbat Semegoya, what the San Tangi, what the Tungazunya, Santana, and Kagal Kirkado. And don't shut nobody in a shot seven Guarota, what the Rala to be go, what the Rabasantan did, and manage never in there, go out to what the Rabasanta, go to Chabachane, they will put you.
The Tama Yandrasuna? Tongshad, okay, then it?
Go Gardun Jiba Marveta, and manage never in a man, never go out there, and the Rala to be go out the Jena to go, Joataba, the Santa, they will put you on. What the Kangal care.
So when we look at these words, it could be quite difficult, but then when we start to apply the practices that we currently know about or do to it, then it becomes easy to understand. So when we look at the 7 limbs, or any among the 7 limb prayers that we do, and parts of the 7 limb prayers, such as making prostration or offering and so forth, we can see how when we engage in virtues, and these virtues have both self-directed pure attitudes and other-directed pure attitudes, they become a great level of virtue. So we take something as simple as saying the refuge prayer. I take refuge until I am enlightened in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. If we are taking refuge for the sake of becoming a Buddha for all sentient beings, and doing so with intense power, or having an intensity behind the wish to become a Buddha for the sake of all sentient beings, then half of, or 2 of the components of the 4 that make a cause a great cause are present. And then the other 2, if one is going for refuge, I taking refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha, and abandoning jealousy, competitiveness, and contempt, and rejoicing in the good that everyone is doing, rejoicing in those of small and medium and great levels, and the good that they're doing. And then if one isn't able to actually abandon that jealousy and rejoice, then one is making it a point to wish to be able to do so in the future. So it says, discerning many times every day that you must do it. So if you can't do that at that point, if you can't abandon those things and rejoice and so forth, then at least set it in your mind that you will. So if you're going for refuge with these 4, then this becomes a great act. So if we have these attitudes present, then it makes it a great act when these attitudes are present within a recipient and being then applied. So this is let me see. Then when we use the example just given and then apply it to even other practices, we can see exactly how we do it. So when we do the 4 immeasurables, when we meditate upon immeasurable love, immeasurable compassion, immeasurable joy and equanimity. We then, if we have these components of self and other, then they become great acts, great deeds. And then when we're doing the confession, Tongshag, the confession of downfalls, the Sutra of the Three Heaps, and we're doing prostrations at that point to the 35 Buddhas, then if we have these components of self and other, then it becomes a great act that we're doing. And if we're doing the Om Mani Padme Hum prayer, and we have this attitude that's appropriate, and then that is related to the purity of self-directed pure attitude and other-directed pure attitude, then it becomes a great act. The act of doing Om Mani Padme Hum, the mantric recitation, becomes a great act. So that, I think that's it. Diksum.
Ta name juniba deredwa, name juji na tamburusi, ta juniba ne mamala subin hawa ta, kuisaba jimba wosa, mamala subin hawa ta ngasunde chumubiya to ya marbe, tezaga de chumutu yabuzuare, what is going to do? Mamala subin hawa dance, what the chumubiya the rendo jumbarwa, mamala subin hawa ta. Kuisaba jimba, and the Kuisaba, Tulu Sabat and the Jimba Tamayina, Tulu Sabat and the Jimba Tamayina, and Kuisaba Jimba Wosa, Jean, Troa Mela Tembatans, and the Contumalavaje, Troa Mela Tembatan, Jejin by Zozonis, Jet and the Jimba Tamayina, and Chawashaman Zuzon, Zuzebi, Zuzebi Jundu Zuzendua, Jenjin Bayi, Zuzanis, Chadu Maybe, Jebune, Kabazambo, Rodishis, Chadu Maybe, Jebutan, Kabazambo, Kabazambo Chiat and I. Ah, Tageti Shugutrota, ah, she saw me name in Sheson so. Ta nipa de marbe nipa de name juji na nipa de ro mamala subi tawa ta ku saba jimba osa mamala subi tawa chumu be zu marbe ku saba jimba ta ya tene je ya choa mela temba ta sa contre me ba jugo re se temba ta jejin ba zozonis Jensha the Jimbatamba in Hote, Zuzambu Yongores, Chadu Mabin Jebune, Kabazamborotishis, Chadu Mabin Jebut, Kabazambul Chigu, Kabazambul Chigu, Jesosa. What about Kilajana?
Shesun Nipa Marme Sopi. Okay.
What did
it? 90.
Mamala Subin, Hawa Dansa, Tachumu Biaro Chumu.
The Namin Jepo.
Gabi Juniba. Nami Juniba Mamala Subin, Hawa Dan, Kuisaba Jimbas, Jean, Troa Mela Tembatan, Jeji by Zuzanis, Zuzebu Judares, Jean, Troa Mela Chadu Mebin Marber, Chadu Mebin Jebin Kabazambor of the Chase. Chadu Mebin Jebutele, Kabazambol Chiatanina. Chase was what about Nami Juniba.
Kalpazampo. Okay, good fortune. Okay. So now we're looking at the second point. So we're going back. We went over consummate lifespan already. So we're going back to page 244 the causes of the fruitions. So the cause of consummate lifespan is not harming living beings in the application of a nonviolent attitude. Further, it is said, so we've already gone over that, so I'm just rereading where we were. So now we're going to number 2. The cause of consummate color is giving light, such as butter lamps and new clothing. Further, it is said that by relying on kindness and giving jewelry, you will have a good physical form. The result of being without jealousy is said to be good fortune. So we see here at the Chenrezig Center, Ted, who's made all of these light offerings. We see right here where it's suggested to do so. So it says offering butter lamps. So we see that this offering of light that Ted has given becomes the cause of consummate color. The cause of consummate color is giving light, such as butter lamps and new clothing. So clothing someone, buying new clothing for someone, giving someone a new article of clothing that they can wear or that they can use. This becomes also a cause for having consummate color. And it's said that if you are free from being jealous, so if you are free from jealousy and you are kind, it says by giving jewelry or by giving jewels, you will have a good physical form itself. So it's talking about the color and then the form, like the hue that one will have, or the color one will have, and then the shape that one will have, and how the physical form, you'll have a good physical form if you give jewelry because of not being jealous. So if you give it for that reason, that you're not jealous, so you give that away, it is said to be good fortune. So this is number 2. Dixon.
What that name Juni but the Chenmo down, Kusaba Jimba Tawa down, and then country member then but down, Jen Jimbalas what to go Marve, Chadu Mel, go out to Golo, sentient tantric and Swajugo want to be Jurmova Yena, send Nabatava Rana to go at Sanrodua, Namila Maravas, shoot Travis on Tabayena, Rana to go by Niba Sanrogue. Tajena to go. Treatise Randitasola Jesu Ranchebaina, Kota Chenrezig, and the Jesu Ranchematubaina, Jesu Yongage, and the Lojangia and the Marbe, Yella Tibanice, Joataba, then the Chumubia to Sukalo, Tuta to Chumubia, Juma Chibambuya, what to Joataba, Rala Tibiguba. Joata Rana to go to Chimutan, Jen Sabambuya, Troa Mebatan, Chadu Mebatu, and Juma Shiba, every day, every time, what the Chiba to say is at the back. Joata was, and the Jella to be go to the Marbata, Tumba Malenkas or Tumba Land, the Abishita waters. Then the Tumba Land seconds or little, Tumba Land but Hench over the Denu Yungure, Taba Yungure, Saji Kubo Yungures, Penshia, what to Santaba in a Goa could touch and Real. Never person to Yungures.
Ju Rimbo, Glass.
June was that the word Marabata, then Mamala Suba, Nawata Chimubuya the Marbe, Tabaji Chimubuya, Juma Chibabuya, Kusaba. Jimbataya, every day Zimbatan to Saint Zero.
Okay.
Troa Mebatan, every day Troa Mebatan, and the Jen Jimba, and the Chadu Majiba, what to Gawaro Gawate, and the Senabataba, Rala to be Guba, Ni, Jena to be Guba, Ni Sansmona, the person to Yungures, Tetabi Gawate, Sentient Tantric, Sanju to be Joke Mobaina. Namila Marava dress. Then Shutabo, Santabayina, or the Rala to Gubani Sandoa. Jena to Gubate, Jenshi Randitasmol, Jesu Ranchia. Jesu Ranchi Matun, Jesu Yage, Tashija, Jella to be going to Marba. Joataba, Tutaba Chumabia, and the Juma Cheba Chumabia, what to say, Jimarba, Joataba Rola de Bas. Jella de or a Domba Lemba Lambatan, Lambala, Habajuba to Marba, or to Juson Tanzuna, and the Jeba Putushon Yogudes, Chumaj Buba Inako, what Juson Tana, Jeba Pensu Suba Yogur, Juson to Masana, Pensu Suba Yogu Manjero, Gawachon Jil Madruma Ina, Jeba Pensu Suba Yoga Yoba Ina, Senabata Rala to Gobata, Jella to Goba, Joanabata Rala to Gobata, Jella to Gobato, Samajena. The Gawachon Jena, Jeba Chibunga, what the Nyalan Garden.
So we can see how, by practicing, by studying, how deeds come to fruition and change. So based upon the things that are happening and the parts or the aspects of the causes that are taking place. So one can see how if these varying aspects of the causes of fruitions are present, how then the fruition itself becomes a great level of fruition. It becomes a great fruition. So when we look at this cause of consummate color, and we look at the generosity. So it says in giving jewelry. So here, this is generosity, which will lead to physical form. The result of being without jealousy is said to be of good fortune. So here, if you engage in the generosity and you have the various aspects present while you're engaging in the generosity, such as giving jewelry, then this becomes a great deed, which will then give rise to a great experience or a great result. So if when we look at what has to be present, we find there are the categories of pure attitude, pure application, and then pure recipient. First, the pure attitude, having the four different points that are made, and then the the pure application itself, having two types as well. So, and then the pure field, or pure recipient rather, also then having those. So when we look at what those are specifically, and we look at the act of engaging in generosity, if we engage in generosity for the sake of becoming a Buddha, and we have a very strong conviction in that ideal, that idea that we want to become a Buddha, then we have this first category of self-directed pure attitude that makes it so that that deed becomes strong. Then we add the other directed pure attitudes, which are rejoicing in the good that other at various levels, small, medium, and great levels, have done. Looking at the kindness that they've shown, the generosity that they've shown, and then rejoicing in the goodness, that goodness. And then if one isn't able to actually rejoice in that goodness, if one can't actually carry that practice out, then wanting to do so, having a desire to in the future be able to actually rejoice in and abandon, rejoice in the good that these others have done at small, medium, and great levels, and then wishing to abandon jealousy, contempt, and competitiveness. Then also, then we have the those. That's what relates to the attitudes. Then the next category is the application itself. And then we find the two categories. So if one engages in this generosity and so forth for a very long time without interruption, with great intensity, then it becomes a fulfillment of the first category of pure application. So the self-directed pure, the first category of self-directed pure application. And then the last category, the other directed pure application, is then causing those who have vows and commitments and so forth to delight in them, to rejoice in them by reinforcing the good that those people have done and reinforcing the value of keeping those vows and so forth. And it says then pure, I'm just going to read this, pure field is so called because those two, attitude and application, are similar to a field in that they give effects that are numerous and good. Offering. So here, June Mapa, why did I write that? So, I see. So the reason we see the result of being without jealousy is that it's a non-faulty generosity. So the generosity that's taking place is being done, the offering that's taking place is being done without having any kind of fault to it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not faulty in any way.
Lama shala sobatan yela tender kuba sheba wosa somba do de name ju somba terendo ngaje mebaje ane lama la soba zate saje kunju chu kunju gani kunju tu kanga den du de jere lama la soba la ane sha chawa to choba bi wala so to yela dimba tu kanga den du de jere wata sha chawa to choba bi wala so be gawata yela tender kuba sa ane je seje la tene tender kuba je seje la kuba
det rik punson sopa NGK det är det rik
jana da seje la sanji churu dawala je la kushi tejin to seje la mi chi chus shuju marbe shuju seje la tene sanji go are sanji la tene sanji go are ane sanji la sha se do ane seje la kuba che mu do te karres ane sanji la kuba che ba na ji seje la kuba che gu dos je la kushi tejin to sanji la mi chi chus seje la sha se gu do ane seje la tene sanji ba re sanji la tene sanji ba chi ba re di waras sanji la sha se kuba che seje la kuba ma che ba de jig man dos wan do se re man do wo te go do se sare aya tender kuba che ba wo sa yen lo kuba che na yen lo kuba che ba ina gawaro da gawa marba lama la soba to lo sha sa wa to chubon bi wala soba yen la de ba to gawaro da yen la tender kuba che ba to gawaro gawa na me ju so ba che te sen na ba ta ba la tu kuba ni ta yen la tu kuba ni jo na ba ta ba rāla tuyabā, jēnā tuyabā, te sōng cāng sōng nā, nī cāng sōng nā, anā drabī pēng sōng tsūpa yōng kērēs. Drabī lāma lā sōpa tu shā tsēwa gawā tēlē, chū sōng bā te cāng sōng nā, sēn nā bā tāpa rāla tuyabā gawā nī tāng, yuwa nā bā tāpa rāla tuyabā gawā te cāng sōng nā, drabī pēng sōng tsūpa yōng kērēs. Drabī pēng sōng tsūpa yōng kērē, sōng te mā cāng nā, pēng sōng tsūpa yōng kē mā rē sōng tu kō yé what they said that the whole ma tamal jasa chibaro
ngaje
ngaje chebe ina ana lamal shasa ba cheba biba ina ko gawadi abe yong be je ba ngaje lamal nga ke ba yo samba ngaje de ba ina ko gawad ta chebe yong be de je da Naje Jonas, Naje Mebache, Lama to Sajo Shukunju, Ganu Conjula Sul, Shatsawala Suba, Sameland to the Injire, Gawarota, Jela Tenter Kuba, Jen Sijela, Sanjela Kuba Naji, Jen Sijela, Tenter Kuba Jagures, Jela Question, the Sijela Michi, Shuju to Zabudota.
Rik Yomare, the Garshan Injike, the Rik Punsun Sopa.
Rik Punsun Sopa Kado.
The Rik Punsun Sopa is Jew.
Rik Punsun Sopa Jew?
Jew. The Somba.
What the Rik Punsun Sopa Jew, what the Injir?
The Dixon.
Injir.
Ale.
The East and the Jew. Rik Punsun Sopa Jerry, the Transic Rita. What the Jutu the Tamayina, Jerry, the Transic Rita, the Sulchina Wizard.
Okay. This will do.
What is it?
The Majenda and Latsu Sheda Papa.
Repesu to a Jidan Kurshi Trabi, Ritobo, Tobano Shibo, what the teacher to the lesson of the daughter.
Okay.
What the Yajawu, that Naman Jabijeta, Jujedus Jaya, somebody was the Repesu to a Jaya.
Okay. So, number 3. It says the cause of consummate lineage is first overcoming pride and then making obeisance and so forth to gurus and the like and respecting others as if you were their servant. First we look at the making obeisance and so forth to gurus and the like. So gurus and the like are teachers and those with excellent qualities like our teachers, the Buddhas, the Bodhisattvas, and so forth. So making obeisance, paying homage, making prostrations. When we're making prostrations to our gurus and so forth, this becomes a cause for good lineage. So when we see the ancient caste system, the various lineages of the Brahmins and the the king's lineage and the Brahmin lineage, and I'm sorry, I'm forgetting one other name right now, but the various lineages in India of systems, workers and so forth. We find that when one comes from a good lineage or has good lineage, it's a result of doing the things that are mentioned here. And the most excellent lineage comes from a deed that is most excellent because it has all of the components related to the cause of it. In this case, it says in respecting others as if they were your servant. And then when we look at the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life by Shantideva, we find a point that's made. It says, we become Buddhas in dependence upon sentient beings. We become Buddhas in dependence upon Buddhas. If we make prostrations to Buddhas because in dependence upon them we become Buddhas, why don't we prostrate to all sentient beings? So this idea is set forth in the Bodhicharya Avatara, the Guide to the Bodhisattva's Way of Life, and here we find it presented in the line that says respecting others as if you were their servant. So bowing down to others. So it's very similar to the point that's made in the Bodhicharya Avatara of putting others above yourself.
That's right. Oh, Dambal. That was the reason.
Ngay Sampa.
What's the somebody that and somebody what they do somebody
Ngay the Shunju Long Lasa.
Repenson Suba Timbare. Ta Jeba de Doa, on should person Suba. On should person Suba Jud Jeba de Doa. On should person Suba Jud and what the Karasana Joson Jeba de Res, segula subal hon ala tada jimba tans segula subal hangen to sul ne segula su tada jimba tangres jimba tawada ane hangen madu na ya to sul pendo ba robo chiba heb marwa
That's so.
pendo ba ta dong ya wa ta yue de jishin yuji me bala para jimba osa na dong he yue ken ta ane yue de jishin ane keba dendele yuji me ba sul ane pa jimba tamba jimba tamba ina ote wanshu pensong soba de yongres wanshu pensong soba yongres wanshu pensong soba ne longshu chela nyela sobi tsanzi chewa ta kupe chewa os wati ndrebate yongres ta.
So number 4, the cause of consummate power. So having power, power is best trained, is giving food, clothing, and so forth to those who request them, even when they are not requested, giving such assistance, and giving to those who suffer, and to recipients who have good qualities but no possession. So here this is engaging in generosity, giving aid or assistance, helping those, even others, even if you aren't requested to do so. Just go ahead and going ahead and doing it, being generous and giving enjoyments to people who are suffering and need them. So.
Ta jeba ta ngaba dere do ngage magawa jipom pombala komba jeba wa ngage magawa jipom pomba de name jo chizomba de jores marbe chizomba de ngage jun chama chetu ngachi je pomba ina chizomba de yongo debo chizomba de yongo res name gen debo chizomba yungores chizomba sa chizomba ne ngagi je mulu yu iten do la choba tangje je bombo chama yube sinje na je chizomba jo os wote imare.
The effect of trustworthy words is that through kind speech, purposeful behavior, and being one whose aims are the same as the disciples, you gather living beings and mature them. Ngapa lapsar.
Ngapa lapsar.
Drupa lapsar.
That drupa chizomba de ta onchewa trapa. Onchewa ta drupa de drupa. Drupa ta onchewa trapa timbar onchewa trapa. Drupa onchewa trapa judere do drupa ne shema rangla yente na tu drubi halan dejins konchu son la cheba ta pama ta nyaran la suba kenlu ta ane lama la cheba sheba osa ane gasure ta drupa do tere do drupa rowa ane shema rangla yente chewa shema tele rangla yente na suba yung mala ya ta ugaris mala mata ni yung me jiro ta mala gwa du ane gwa du mala ya ta ugaris mala ta ane konju son la cheba biya pama ta lama ta kenlu la suba la cheba sheba ina ane wate yung ugaris marbe.
Pama kabiore inchi
pama tekatu duat na tuba shemala yeten hatu duwa melan dejin sa melan dejin konchu dalama la suba cheba pama tas nyaran ta kenlu ta lama la cheba sheba os what the truba tere do truba Drupa Terendua,
Drupa, Jawa,
Drupa
Tamche.
Terendua, on Chewa Trabas, on Chewa Traba. Drupa on Chewa Traba Terendua. Naming Jabu on Chewa Traba take Jute, on Chewa Trabi Jute Garis and the Jut Drupa Teres, you Drupa. You Drupa Teres, and then on Chewa to Yuala, and then Susule, you then have to Banjon Yu, Tonga de Gures, Consus on the Chebabu Gures, Pamatan, Yaranda, Kenlutan, Lama Lasuala, Chebamugina, and the on Chewa Traba to Yungures. What is it?
One Shiva Drapa. Drupa. The effect of renown as a great power is that because you have helped and assisted others in all activities, they repay your kindness and listen immediately to your instructions. So they listen, they pay attention to what you're seeing because you have this power, this presence that makes them listen. It validates what you're saying because you have this great power, which is this fame, this renown.
This one.
Ngay Tsampa.
Yeah.
Drupa. Okay.
Ta Dunpa
Dunpa. Yun
Dunpa is one. Dunpa ne Jibi Yudela Gawatan, Jibi Yudela Gawatan, Peme Jungabula, Magashin, Niemisu Tawatan, Pemeji, Lun Deba, Deba Duba, and P. Ombo. Juba le Toshi Bosa. That P. Ombudsman then Judo water is that Ju. One Chava Traba, that Jeba Nine, P. Ombudsman then Bos, P. Ombudsman then Judos, P. Pond the morning, P. Ombudsman then Judas, Dumba Dumba. GB Della Gawa dance, P. Della Gawa, Pemeji, Mobile Magazine. Niemisu Tawatan, Pemeji, Lundaba, no, Dumba Dubatan, P. Ombu Jebale, Tawashiba to Jebaina, P. Ombu the Deba to Yunguris one is it. Dumba things are marbe.
So number 7 is the pomo. Okay, so being a male.
So
the hold on. Let's go. Rinpoche, the Cherang the Becha. Cherang Kabiore. The Chu Becha Cheranga. The Tranka Gare.
Tranka Dumba. Namin Jeva Dumba.
In a Jada.
Dumba. Jada Guchu. Then
Guchu Kabiore.
Chin Ngulmazivi, Chin Abbot Ngaba. Chin Abbot Dumba Nesmudi. Jibi Yudela Gashins, Dumba ne, Jibi Yudela Gawatan, Pemeji Ngobola Magai, Niemisu, Tawatan, Pemeji Lundaba, Nandumba, Dubatan, P. Ombucheba, Tawashibos, what the Janet and the Policiag Judim, but the Policiag.
Okay, so I think I just read the wrong order from the wrong page, so I'm going to read through it again in the order because I just switched back over to the other page because I was looking at the Tibetan and the English, and I was listening to Rinpoche, and if you look at they're very similar. It says consummate power, so I was just hearing it incorrectly. So I'm just going to read through it, starting with number. I think that we were starting with number 5 5 and 6 and 7. So I'm just going to read through all of them. The cause of, starting with 3, the cause of consummate lineage is first overcoming pride and then making obeisance and so forth to the gurus and the like and respecting others as if they were your servant. Cause of consummate power is giving food, clothing, and so forth to those who request them, even when they are not requested, giving such assistance and giving to those who suffer and to recipients who have good qualities but no possessions. The cause of trustworthy words is habituation to giving up the 4 vocal non-virtues. The cause of renown as great power is making aspirational prayers to acquire various good qualities in the future, making offerings to the 3 jewels and making offerings to parents. There's the parents. I kept asking Rinpoche where in the section it said parents. Shravakas, Prachika Buddhas, abbots, masters, and gurus. And then number 7, the cause of being a male is delight in the attributes of a male, lack of delight in female things and seeing their disadvantages, stopping the yearnings of those who want to be reborn in women's bodies, and rescuing those whose male organs will be cut off. The Dunba Lapsar.
That Dunba Jeba Jeba. Jeba Jeba Totan Deba Marbe, Totan Deba. Totan Deba ne Muji Leji Tu, Jenji Nuba Chongjin, Ne Mabatan, Sindi, Ne Jenle, Chonyu, Chua Chawa Wos, or the Jeba Dra, or the Jeba Jeba Derendua, Jenji, Ten Menuba, Jenda Jema to go out to the Rang Droba. What is in Samarbe? Jenji, Ten Menuba, Jenji saw in the Jenda Jema to go out to God Droya. Rangi Shebatan, Rantan, Dumbi, Nubala, True Shebatan, Zawatan, Tonga, Tawos, what the Jeba to the Matotan temperature said.
So then, number 8, the cause of strength is accomplishing what cannot at all be done by others, assisting in what can be done with your collaboration, and giving food and drink. If these 8 causes are endowed with 3 causes, pure attitude, pure application, and pure recipient, their fruitions will be outstanding. Among the 3 causes, there are 2 types of pure attitude, self-directed and other directed. The 2 self-directed pure attitudes are. So that then leads us back up to that section that we went over. Dixon.
Oh, yeah, that damage
So we went over now we've gone over the section on the effects of the fruitions and then the causes of the fruitions. So in this section we find this point being made about being born as a male, but then in the tantric system, which is the higher system of Buddhism, we find this idea of actually making prostrations to the female and holding the female in the highest order, highest regard. So this is a little bit of a different sentiment in here than we find in the higher tantric teachings. So here, this is just showing the quality. If we hear the excellent the quality of being a male, and then so the qualities of a male, the attributes of a male. So this section is Rinpoche is saying it's just dealing with the qualities that a male has. There's trouble here if we, maybe between for women when they see this section. Trouble. Sometimes women have qualities, sometimes they have faults. So in the tantric teachings we find this idea of circumambulation around the woman and the prostration around the woman. To the woman.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's different in the different sections. Decent.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll do the Triwa, you're it.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Just one, and then we will close.
Just
No.
a
Of course.
clarification on number 4.
Okay.
At the end, it says, "And giving to those who suffer and to recipients who have good qualities but no possessions." What's the clarification of good
Naming Ju
qualities?
Jipa. Jipa Kontriwa Zeso la Sopa Lonwa de. Let me just find what the Tibetan says. So here in the English it says who have good qualities but no possessions.
I'm confused by the good qualities.
Right.
If we have compassion towards all sentient beings, then
The
some will have good
Rinpoche,
and
the
some will have not.
Dondagare, the Jipa.
We still have compassion.
Zegu la Sopa Lonwa la Deta Jimba Dang Miloyang Pantopa. The Jipa.
또 원슈 편수 소바도 말বে. 원슈 편수 소바.
Wanshu. Datayin. Then the
다간데 짐바타 들도 짐바타.
Dungyao Wa Dang Yunten. The Yunten Dondagare.
This also my good is 유대주주는
Then the Kongi Triwa. The Dungyao Wa Dang Yunten. The Konsu Dungyao.
짐바 술탄 오래 등에 여기서 짐바 단스
Then
근데 유대 여바 이나야한테는 주부 요로다 여바 매게 홀비 보여로 어떻게 짐바 단스다
Yune, the Konsu Yunten Mena, take a mare. Konsu Yunten Mena?
사브린 줄 짐바 단스 사브린
Lesser, then Yunten Garshine.
give generous
Lesser.
and what the keba 유대 여기 요로 유대 여기야 벤주 주부 여기 요로 뭐 잡아당 어떻게 키바 임발라 벤주 주부 여기 들으신 바당 그랬다
I see. So
lela 버리
Rinpoche is saying that it's not difficult. It's just saying that giving things to those people who are suffering and to recipients who have good qualities but no possessions. So Rinpoche said, for instance, monks or nuns who have excellent qualities but don't have possessions. Those who are suffering and have no excellent qualities, but then those also beings who have excellent qualities, but they don't have any possessions because.
Just a category.
Yes. Yep.
Thank
You're welcome. Yeah, and to recipients, so those who suffer, and to. So we'll do the concluding mandala offering and dedication prayer. The fundamental ground is scented with incense and strewn with flowers, adorned with Mount Meru, the 4 continents, the sun and the moon. I imagine this as a Buddha land and offer it. May all sentient beings enjoy this pure realm. I dedicate whatever virtues I have collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, and in particular for the essential teachings of Venerable Lobsang Drakpa to shine forever. I send forth this jeweled mandala to you, precious Guru. I dedicate all this virtue to emulate the knowledge of the hero Manjushri and likewise Samantabhadra as well. Whatever dedication is praised as supreme by all the conquerors who traverse the 3 times, I also dedicate all my roots of virtue for the sake of auspicious deeds. In that pure land surrounded by snowy mountains, you are the source of all benefit and happiness. All-powerful Abbot Tenzin Gyatso, may you stay until samsara's end. I pray for the long life of the precious Khensur Rinpoche, upholder of scriptural and realizational doctrines, spiritual friend who trained extensively in the 5 great philosophical texts, with exceptional wisdom and perseverance. Suji Rinpoche, Guzi Shapi Denonang, Natsu Lamrim Chenmo Konga Trio.
yeah